Part 1. White Clouds. Lone Moon. To war.
Unforgivable! I cannot fathom that the Adrestian Empire would embark on such a violent course of action.
The fault is my own. I failed to see the wickedness within Edelgard's heart. There is no question on that front. She clearly wishes to conquer all of Fodlan. And in order to achieve her own selfish ambitions, she plotted with ill-meaning strangers and defiled the Holy Tomb. Or perhaps her ambitions are even grander than we know. Perhaps she is planning to make herself a false deity by demonizing the Church of Seros.
Adrestia received its very name through a divine oracle. To injure the goddess is a sin most foul that shall not be forgiven, nor forgotten. We must stop the Empire, and quickly.
I have returned, Rhea.
Welcome back, Shamir. Were you able to discern the Empire's movements?
Their main troops are marching towards Garreg Mach. It is said that they will join forces with Edelgard's army and arrive within 2 weeks.
2 weeks? That is not enough time. It will require all of our efforts just to prepare our defenses before then. We must send notice to all surrounding villages at once. We must order the residents of Garreg Mach to flee for their lives.
It will be done.
Professor, listen closely. If our enemy invades the monastery, I will have no choice but to stand upon the battlefield. If something happens to me, I am entrusting my sacred duties to you. You must have guessed it by now. The truth of who you are. Or perhaps I should say, your lost memories are surely beginning to return. I have acted all these long years as a mere proxy for you. But the duty is yours, and yours alone. Only you can lead the people of Fodlan.
Rhea, please. You must tell me all that you know. I beg of you. That one is the progenitor god. Am I correct?
In a sense. Our dear professor is a vessel. One who carries the power of the progenitor god within. In time, the vessel will become one with the power contained within, and the progenitor god shall return to this world.
I see. I trust that you are aware of the questionable nature of this experiment. But I suppose there is no turning back.
I ask that you help our friend. And in doing so, help her. I am waiting and hoping for the moment when our Creator rules this wayward land once more.
I understand. As ever, I will take you at your word.
Lady Rhea, brother, I will do my part as well.
Flame, were you eavesdropping? Regardless, I am glad to hear it. You owe your life to the Professor, after all. And in the end, they may prove to be our brethren.
You have my gratitude, Sedith. And you as well, Flame. As followers of the progenitor god, it is up to us to see our mission through.
If I could go back to last month and throttle my carefree self. Now it turns out Edelgard is the Flame Emperor and the new Adrestian Emperor. And she's striking out against the monastery, with the full force of the Imperial army behind her. We gotta beat her at her own game, for our sake as well as Lady Rhea's.
You never had a chance. Is that all? Over already. I must stay focused.
You saw it too, didn't you? The boar's true nature. He's hidden his desire for revenge pretty well. But now it's stirred up. Well, regardless. That girl's starting an all-out war, isn't she? But an enemy is an enemy, no matter who they are. Don't let compassion for her get in your way.
I don't normally have a problem jumping into a fight, but it feels strange going up against my father. We aren't especially close, but he's not an opponent I'd want to face. I'd almost rather fight a monster. I hope he's not part of the group coming to attack Garreg Mach.
Okay. I thought we'd all be really busy with assignments and getting ready for graduation. But now that things have turned out like this, I guess there's nothing to do but fight.
Edelgard became emperor and raised an army, huh? Who knew the kid had it in her? I mean, yeah, of course, I knew she'd be emperor eventually, but the more I think about it, the more surprised I am. I wonder who's gonna win. Thinking about it makes me scared. We're up against the entire Imperial army. Still, I know someone as smart as you will figure something out.
Professor, what actually happened last month? I can't keep up at all. Edelgard is the Emperor, and she's declared war against the Church? So now we're at war? What is going on? I really don't understand any of this. What should I do?
Dear me.
The Empire's aggression cannot stand. But if we are going to attack them now, we must be honest with ourselves about our chances of success. It goes without saying that I will fight the Imperial army with everything I have for as long as I am able. But House Gloucester's territory is adjacent to Imperial lands. Let us proceed with caution.
Right.
Once the Imperial army reaches the monastery, we'll have no choice but to fight.
What's going to happen to us?
I believe you. With the Knights on our side, and especially with you, Professor, I know we can do this.
Things must be pretty crazy in Fargus about now. My father must be beside himself. I don't get it. Why did Edelgard make enemies with the nobles? Ideals she believed in so much, she was willing to start a war over them? Those must be some lofty ideals, to say the least. I hope this all gets sorted out quickly and safely. I'm worried about my father. Oh, that's my...
At times like this, I just feel so anxious, you know? But you'll watch out for me out there, right, Professor?
Yes.
His Highness calls for the head of Edelgard. For me, that is cause enough to fight. The hatred of His Highness is also my hatred. Any other feelings I may have are irrelevant. And if Edelgard was responsible in any way for the tragedy of Duscur, that is something I cannot ignore. If that is the case, then she is my enemy.
I have had the arrival of a letter from Edelgard. She is asking that I join her side. She is making the decision. No, she is deciding if Bridget is a friend or an enemy of the Empire. But my choice is not to be friends. My choice is to fight with you. Bridget is not a friend of the Empire. We will not be following again. We will be ready to fight with you instead.
I've known His Highness since I was a child, but I've never seen that side of him before. He seemed like a completely different person than the one I know.
What does war with Edelgard mean for us, Professor? And why did she even want that? Yeah, I guess we'd have to ask her. That's how it always goes, I guess. You never realize something can't be undone until you've done it.
Maybe.
Pardon me. Greetings, Professor. Something to report. Unexpected, isn't it? Apparently, this is the first time Garreg Mach has been invaded in its whole 995-year history. It's my job to protect this gate, so even if enemies come in droves, I will never let them through. I hope we both survive. Let's battle with all our might and pray we win this thing.
Well, I'll be.
You know, Professor, I'm glad that I came to the Officers' Academy. I feel accepted here. I've learned so much. Honestly, I'm surprised at how much I've grown. So, I will not let the Academy be destroyed. It's important to me, and I will protect it. I feel braver just hearing you say that, Professor. We're gonna win this, Professor.
Pardon me.
Half of the Empire's 6 great noble families have declared their support for Edelgard. Of the other 3, Lord Vestra was assassinated. Hubert, his son, will succeed him. Bernadetta's father, Count Varley, is under house arrest.
His wife is now supporting Edelgard. And my father, he was stripped of his role as Prime Minister. As a result, House Eyre has lost all of its power, all of its lands. We have lost everything. What do I do?
There are always small power struggles, still. It has been hundreds of years since all of Fodlan was consumed by war. I didn't actually think it would come to this. I feel as though I'm not in my rightful place. I cannot protect the things I should. Professor, if I survive this war, I wish to return to my homeland, to the land of my king.
We're falling behind. I don't know that we can keep up with the new Emperor. To think that she was able to raise an army of that size right under our noses. However hard we fight, I give us a 50% chance of winning. The enemy has too many advantages. We must make careful preparations.
It's my job to protect Lady Rhea. I've got to do it, and I gotta do it as best I can. And if that means I gotta die for her, then I will. How could Edelgard treat Lady Rhea like she's the bad guy? She's never been anything but nice to everybody. I just don't get it at all.
Okay.
The Empire is moving quickly. Edelgard must have been preparing for this for a while now. If you really think about it, she must have been planning for this even before you got the Sword of the Creator. Of course she was always a step ahead of us. We were blinded by the ball, and the Battle of the Eagle and Lion, and everything else.
Professor! What is Edelgard even trying to achieve? She wants to destroy the church so badly that she'll take on anyone who doesn't fall in line? I don't get it. I just can't believe she'd start a war over it, not to mention using such nasty tactics to get her way. Could Captain Gerald's death have also been a part of her plan? Don't you go and die on me, Professor. Captain Gerald would never forgive you.
I see.
Those who serve the Church must cast aside all selfish desires and devote themselves fully to their beliefs. But is it right to wield piety as a weapon? I have never considered such things before. The Church, I have always done what I thought best to save the people of Fodlan.
Really?
Hello? How dare they threaten the goddess? Such a vile act cannot be forgiven. There is no need to worry, I promise you that. Divine punishment will surely fall upon them. In the days of yore, the goddess would grow angry with such insolent fools and roast them in ALL.
Something appears to be wrong with my throat.
Singing's okay, but I should really have a cute dance to go along with it.
I'll have that girl's head. Just you wait.
I guess we have no choice but to fight, have we? Oh, but why would Edelgard do something like this? I'm sure we'll be all right, though, Professor. The goddess will keep us safe.
Professor, can we really defeat someone who is willing to turn their back on the world just to uphold their own beliefs? I've spent my whole life running in fear, and now Surely we can win if we rely on each other, right, Professor?
Professor, war is breaking out again, is it not? An honorable notion. Do you think there is something to be done? Whatever shall we do? I never wanted another war. All we can do is steel ourselves for the fight ahead.
Need something? See you again soon.
Professor, so Edelgard, the one who calls herself the Flame Emperor, was connected to those strange beings. The Imperial Army might be using even more terrifying methods than we know. You had better be cautious, Professor. Any amount of carelessness might prove to be our undoing.
Excuse me. How are you, Professor? Any new changes to report? With the Imperial Army drawing near, it is most vexing that we cannot relax and converse as we once did. Thankfully, you have the divine protection of the goddess on your side. Please try to listen carefully for her voice. May the goddess's voice reach you.
We must protect Garreg Mach. Defiling the Holy Tomb was a sacrilege. I will not allow such a thing to happen again. The Archbishop has already given you a new responsibility. I want you to rise to that honor. I have something to ask of you.
To think Edelgard was somehow connected to the captain's murderer. Well, perhaps it's pointless to get upset about the past. My duty now is to prepare for battle. We're depending on your strength, Professor. Crush our enemies. Captain, I hope you're watching. We will protect Garreg Mach.
The Holy Tomb held many crest stones. This is the first time I've heard of crest stones being hidden away in such a place. But more importantly, I'm interested to know the Empire's aim. Why would their army desire crest stones? There is power there, yes. And yet, I must think on this. The crest stones lie at the heart of the events surrounding Conan Tower and the chapel as well. And of course, the crest stones somehow transform those traitors and their captives into demonic beasts. Could that possibly be their aim? The Empire's army may well plan to use crest stones to create demonic beasts.
The mastermind behind the attacks on the monastery was Edelgard? Wow. Doesn't make much sense, though, does it? There would need to be all sorts of territories and groups tangled up in this sort of mess. I'm gonna stop. I don't really have the head for this political stuff. Mostly, I'm worried about my old opera company. I wonder what's happening in the capital right now. I hope they're safe.
Well,
We must defile the Archbishop.
Pardon me.
Hi. I can Edelgard soldier. They couldn't be.
Pardon me.
Professor. Professor, have you been looking for me again? I am very busy, you know. I must insist that disruptions for light-hearted chats of this kind be kept to a minimum. What did I tell you about falling victim to such salacious and slanderous rumors? As I've told you, there is obviously a conspiracy against me. There is no manner in which I could possibly be considered bothersome. Professor, I assure you, you have been deceived. My adversary has poisoned the hearts of these ladies against me. The plot goes deeper than I thought. But if you truly do insist, please understand, Professor. I am not some scoundrel out for conquest. I am attempting to fulfill my duty as heir of House Gloucester. It is my responsibility to continue our noble line by finding a suitable lady to be my wife. It is a rigorous process. My family has the very highest standards for appearance, grace, temperament, and pedigree. Typically, yes, even if others are sometimes critical of that notion. For the nobility, marriage is not merely a union of individuals, it is also a union of families. It would not benefit House Gloucester to be tied to a family of powerless commoners, would it? To achieve supremacy, it is necessary for my line to be tied to that of an influential family. That is the best path to peace and prosperity for all of Fodlan. So as you can see, the fate of the whole world rests upon my shoulders. It is nothing out of the ordinary. Those of us with noble blood are born to this duty, you know. That being said, to avoid misunderstandings, I shall restrain myself until things calm down. I would rather not cause trouble for you after all.
thank you, Lawrence. You've done so much for me. You've been a tremendous help.
It was but a trifle. Surely there was no small amount of danger, but in the interest of experience, I was happy to endure.
You're so strong that I can't help but feel safe in your presence.
Yes, of course. Although, no matter how much brute strength we bring to bear, it is important that there be a leader on the field as well. Without someone possessed of my sound judgment and adaptability, we would surely be lost.
Surely, yes. My thoughts exactly. But,
What is it?
I'm going to keep providing support from the back. You wouldn't mind doing more fighting for me, would you?
Oh, well, physically, I can, certainly. But if you mean on an everyday basis...
I knew you would. You have the generous soul of a true noble. I'll have to write back home and sing your praises.
Really? You mean to your father and brother?
Oh, yes. I have to write my big brother pretty often, as a matter of fact. He gets upset if I don't. And yet, I never have much to write about. I've been really straining for topics. That must strike you as a terrible nuisance, the idea of me blabbing about you in my letters.
Nuisance? Oh, hardly. Your brother is one of the foremost commanders of the Alliance. I can think of no higher accolade than to have my name passed on to his noble ear.
Then I'll tell him about all your thrilling exploits. Although if you can't help, that's okay too. I'll find something else to write about.
Oh, fear not. I shall show you exploits of a nature more thrilling than you could ever dream. Incidentally, when you write to him, please do not refer to me merely as Lawrence. Please use my full name, Lawrence Hellman Gloucester. This will be an excellent opportunity to advance the status of the Gloucester name.
What a funny boy.
I hear the Alliance's territory will be in danger if we don't get rid of these Empire guys. If the Alliance is in danger, that means my sister's in danger too. There's no way I'm gonna allow that. It doesn't matter how many guys they throw at us. I'll beat them all. These muscles aren't just for show. But first, I gotta get some food.
The most important nobles in the Empire are known for taking power from the previous Emperor, my father included. I didn't think it possible that the Imperial Princess could ascend the throne so easily. However, it seems that both my father and Caspar's are supporting Edelgard. Having both the Minister of Domestic Affairs and Minister of Military Affairs on your side gives you total control over the Empire's military and finances. They must have been making preparations for quite some time without anyone noticing.
Well done. You have my thanks.
I have some experience with cooking. I'm sure I can aid you in the kitchen. Let me consider. How the meal tastes affects the morale of the troops. An army marches on its stomach. Oh.
love this.
I like this.
I would be liking...
This is so good.
This...
No. I...
I gotta ask you something. Makes sense to me.
Professor.
You called, so I came. Thank you. Very good. Oh? Huh. Oh? Yes. Sure. That was delicious. Thank you. I'll visit again when I'm free.
Hey, Sylvain. I would like your help for today's work.
Ha! So you finally...
You have helped me to learn...
Professor!
No, it was not...
It's in my grasp.
I think one step before the...
Listen up, everyone. The Imperial Army is upon us. If you can fight, pick up a weapon. Everyone else, hurry up and evacuate. We have the Goddess's protection on our side. We have nothing to fear. Victory will be ours.
Professor, are you ready? Well, hurry up. I don't need to tell you that the situation is dire. We have some support troops from the local nobles, but the army we're facing is immense. No matter how you look at it, we're at a disadvantage. To make matters worse, the enemy is being led by Edelgard. Do not underestimate how extraordinary her abilities are.
They're here. At long last.
It seems this will be a battle to remember. About time.
I'll never give up, no matter how outnumbered we are. I'll fight to the very end.
I should have made a move on the Imperial Princess before things got this far. It could have changed everything.
We have the Goddess's divine protection on our side. All that's left is to try our best. All we can do is fight as best we can. Though, if I'm being honest, I'm really scared right now.
We can't just hand over the kingdom and the monastery. We'll stop her, no matter what it takes.
Your Highness, you do not seem... well.
Unwell, you say? What's gotten into you? Nothing could be farther from the truth. I'm so happy I can hardly contain myself. My father, my stepmother, my dear friends. They want her head. They want her life. They've whispered as much to me. And the chance to answer their pleas has arrived at long last. Of course. But don't mistake my intentions. Edelgard will die by my hand, and mine alone. Let's move, Professor. Even if it costs me my life, I won't rest until I've crushed her skull in my bare hands.